All right, the time now is 11 a.m. Let's go ahead and get this webinar started. I am Marcus Levias. I'm the Management Analyst for Worker Safety Support under Workforce Development. Today's webinar will be Worker Safety Support, a Year in Review. For today's webinar, the chat function and Q&A will be available. We did mute all mics due to the volume of attendees. Type all your questions in the Q&A function, and someone from Worker Safety Support will monitor that. And at the end of today's presentation, we'll actually go through those questions and answer them for you the best of our abilities. Please refrain from putting questions in the chat, as it may be a distraction for others. So, every day, social service workers across this country provide a wide range of services in increasingly complex environments, including child welfare agencies, schools, mental health centers, and hospitals. Safety can be a concern in many of these settings. Unfortunately, too many workers have been the targets of verbal and physical assaults while performing their job responsibilities. This webinar is important for you because we know that our jobs as DPS workers is inherently more dangerous than other jobs. DFPS and the Worker Safety Support Team support your safety and sees it as a priority. We present this information for you to be aware of safety threats that you may encounter so that you may go home safe. On this side, you'll see our Worker Safety Support staff. Starting at the top, we have our Director, Lindsay Tomlinson. Supporting Regions 1, 2, 3, and 9, we have Ms. Katie McCoy. Supporting Regions 4, 5, and 6, Mr. Douglas Cameron. Supporting Region 7, 10, State Office and Statewide Intake, Mr. Claudio Singletary. Supporting Regions 8 and 11, we have Ms. Aurora Garcia. I am your Management Analyst. And we have with us today also our Alert Media Administrator, Ms. Danielle Gutierrez. These men and women work tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure the agency is a safer place every day. If you ever need to get in contact with us, you can use the emails in the upper left-hand corner. And if you have any alert media questions, you can reach out to the second email listed on the left-hand corner, or you can contact Danielle or myself directly for assistance. So today we have 3 learning objectives. The first is to discuss the significant changes that have occurred with worker safety support over the last year to better serve DFPS employees. A second objective is to discuss the top safety incidents that have occurred and let participants know about the trends from the previous fiscal year. And finally, we're here to discuss the worker safety support projects that will be occurring in fiscal year 2025 to support and continue on our path to success. If there are any questions before we get started, please put them in the question and answer section. Danielle will be monitoring that, and I'll answer accordingly. All right, let's get started. So here are the significant changes from worker safety support that occurred in fiscal year 2024. First, we had Alert Media app changeover. Then we did the OP 6115 DFPS Employee Safety Policy Letter. We rolled out the Employee Safety Letter. We started to distribute the Safety Matters newsletter with safety sound bites. We developed a QR code to get in touch with WSS. And we also made some changes in impact concerning worker safety issues. And finally, we updated PTP. So let's talk about Alert Media a little bit more in depth. As many of you are aware, the Safe Signal app that you may have grown to love or hate is no more. Starting September 1st of 2023, DFPS employees transition over to the Alert Media app. Both of the apps are run by the same company, and the interface between the two are nearly identical. There has been some improvements in the new app, such as the volume button now can activate an alarm. There is safety threat intelligence within the app that you can use. And we also did some administrative changes to handle the 8,000 accounts that we handle monthly. Additionally, WSS has been working to get app usage numbers out to managers to encourage use and continue to promote a culture of safety for DFPS employees. I'll briefly go through the app installation instructions for those who don't have the app on their phone. I know there was a recent tech refresh and a lot of new iPhones came on and a lot of people didn't get the app pulled over. So we'll run through that really quick. So first, open the comp portal on your iPhone, if you have your iPhone readily available. Next, find the search bar. Type Alert Media and click on search. That should take a few seconds to pull up. touch on the app icon. Should look like this. And then finally select install. And I'll leave this up for a few seconds for those that are just getting their phones or getting into the comp portal. And if you still need help, you can reach us at alertmediahelp@dfps.texas.gov. For the sake of brevity, please take a picture of this or write it down really quick, and you can reach out to us for any installation help or actually accessing your account once you get the app downloaded. I know some of us may have not accessed it in a while and may need some help with our username and password. So please reach out to us on this email, and we'll be able to assist you. So here's the alert media usage for fiscal year 24. Roughly, we averaged around 8,000 users. September was our highest month. We had around 87, almost 8,800 users. Some significant points. The program was underutilized in fiscal year 24. We had less than 12% of usage across the entire agency for those that are registered users. And our goal for fiscal year 2025 is to at least reach 15% usage per month. Supervisors, if you would like a detailed copy of this report, you can also reach out to us at either one of those emails that I listed earlier, and we'll be able to give you a breakdown. And we can actually break it down by just supervisor and subordinates. So please send us an email. I would like to personally thank the following users for their dedicated use of Alert Media. Most of the users that I'm getting ready to call out have logged over 25 sessions per month, almost every month for the fiscal year. So from APS, we have Ms. Angelique Edwards, Chelsea Lance, Amberlynn Vice Wall. From CPI, Don Sharp, Raina Rosales, and Maria Centino. From CPS, we had Lois Ricks, Kimberly Anderson, Juanita Almaguer. And from SI, we had Johnny Lagoria and Randy Herrera. I'd like to say thank you again. You guys have been consistent power users of the program, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Next, let's move on to OP 6115. So worker safety has made major changes in the previous year. Previous, we had HR 1007. The new policy is now OP 6115, and it can be accessed through the safety net. The most significant changes, besides the increase in volume of information, the new policy informs employees that they have a right and responsibility to communicate their concerns about workplace safety issues. Additionally, the policy was updated to clarify safety procedures and requirements from previous release versions. This includes CWAP, self-defense, protective orders, weapons policies, and animal bites. And in the next slide, I'll go into a little bit more detail about the changes. So here are significant changes for OP 6115, a little bit more in detail. So these are the things that we have actually changed quite significantly or added to our previous policy. So we have employee personal safety plan has been added, reporting explicit content, animal bite safety and reporting, management requirements when responding to safety reports, employee requests for safety-related case transfer, communication required by management regarding safety incidents, requirements to document safety incidents in case narrative and worker safety issue comment box and impact, and reporting protective and restraining orders to worker safety support. I do encourage you to go into the new regulation and read it. It has grown significantly from around 3 pages to around 19 to 20, but it's to benefit you as a worker and keep you safe. So please give that a look when you have a chance. Something new that most of you are hearing about for the first time will be the employee safety letter. So the purpose of the employee safety letter is to inform any client or members of the public who engage in any act of harassment, physical violence, or threatening behavior towards DFPS staff, or violence may involve law enforcement being contacted and charges being pursued. The letter includes verbiage about extensive or extreme behavior, the Texas statute that is being broken from that behavior, and the possible punishment that may occur if charges are pursued. The safety letter program actually came from the feedback from DFPS staff. This program is to offer a little bit more assistance or more bite to extreme cases of threats, violence, or assault. And also, this letter does not supersede a building ban letter. It is an additional tool to help curb some unwanted behavior. So this letter has actually been in beta testing since July 1st of 2024, but this is the first time that we're actually bringing it to the public to actually talk about it. There are three customized versions of this letter. One's to address assault, one is harassment, and one is to address threats. The team that actually handles this is comprised of worker safety support staff, DFPS legal, and selected program staff members to determine whether or not a letter should even be issued. Each division has its own POC to facilitate the process. So this does not occur any additional work on any division. It's already been taken care of. You just need to staff with us, and then we'll let you know whether or not we're going to proceed with the letter. And worker safety issues are a worker safety issue is then entered into impact stating that a letter has been issued. I do have a copy of those letters available. You can reach out to worker safety support if you would like to see those, and we can walk you through it just to give you a little bit more information on it. But that program has started. Expect to see it to roll out soon. Something new that we've done this year is we've actually produced a newsletter. It's the Safety Matters newsletter. It is released quarterly. It highlights current safety trends, awareness months, and safety tips. And we have our current and archived copies available through SafetyNet, and I'll show you how to access those next. So Safety Matters can be found under the Health and Safety tab under SafetyNet. Select Worker Safety and look under the Need Resources tab. Under there, you'll see the Safety Matters tab is located near the right side of the screen, and then you can just click whatever volume of the newsletter that you want. So here's a view of the most recent newsletter, and towards the bottom of the screen, you can see previous release newsletters. Please take some time in the near future to look over those and get the information that's made available to you. And also note, just to the right of the Safety Matters tab, we have a safety sound bites, which I'll discuss in the next slide. So Safety Sound Bites is another piece that we rolled out this year, and there's a series from DFPS Worker Safety Support Team that will keep you informed on all things safety, including information on safety trends, resources, and updates we have. And it's all in one short video. It's presented and produced by our dedicated safety team. I prefer these because, for one, they're available on YouTube, so you can actually access those outside of work. They're less than 3 minutes long, and you can also access them through SafetyNet. I recommend you listen to them to like an audio book, or you can play them to a unit meeting because they're readily available. So here's Danielle and Aurora, our two dedicated team members that have produced the first two versions of Safety Sound Bites, and they're really enjoyable. So check those out when you have a chance. Something new that we put out this year is a QR code. In the event that you are in a safety incident and need to report to us, this is another way to get in touch with us besides using SafetyNet or emailing the org box. The QR code is on most of our distributed media, to include business cards, and I think we have some mouse pads floating around with the QR code on it. You can actually access this QR code from your state-issued phone and your personal phone. All we ask is that when you ask to include an email, that it be a state-issued email so that we can get back out to you and actually provide the support that you need. And this is done through Microsoft Forms. So another change that we made this year is worker safety issues and impact. So on March 24th of this year, a memo was sent out to staff that stated, effective immediately, worker safety issues, also known as worker safety alerts and impact, are not to be modified or deleted. It has been determined that worker safety issues are considered part of the case record and must be retained with the case throughout its duration. So anything that is in that box must stay. And doing so, with that regulation, we also made some changes because we realized that there was a character constraint on the actual worker safety issue box. So now it has been expanded to over 2,000 characters, so we can put as much information there as we need. Still try to keep it brief, don't include entire paragraphs, but put the information there that's needed. Because worker safety issues are a key communication tool utilized in impact to inform caseworkers of potential risk or hazards that may arise when interacting with clients or their families. These alerts are recorded on the case summary tab under special handling and worker safety issue. All we ask is that when you do put that information in, that it looks like the example below. So for worker safety support, we actually put in the date of the incident. We put in the person who's actually involved in the worker's case. We used to leave that blank, or we just used to put the case client in there, but we realize it can be multiple people. Things change, people change, relationships change. So please be very specific about who was involved in that worker safety incident, and then put what happened. So my example here, I had a Chihuahua on property that has been a caseworker. To the max extent possible, please try to stick to this format just to make it easier for everyone involved to read. Moving on. So we have made some changes in PTP, which is our training program. So PTP, also known as Protecting the Protector, is a one-day course that provides information on keeping staff safe while on the job, as well as an overview of support services provided by Worker Safety Support. There's a focus on techniques designed to keep staff physically safe in the field, protect the personal data online, and understand how case history directly impacts their safety. To register for this training, go to the Learning and Development Learning Station and sign up for the course, PTP, Protecting the Protector. Some new skills that we have included in this training for this year we have revised include identifying workplace violence, using the power of language and de-escalation techniques to use in the field. Again, if you'd like to attend this course, it's highly recommended. If you have taken this course a few years ago or haven't had the chance to attend, it's highly recommended. We cover an array of topics to keep you informed and safe, and all levels of DFPS employees are encouraged to actually attend this training. Now, we're moving into the safety incidents that have occurred in fiscal year 2024, supported by Worker Safety Support. So those things that have happened in the field and actually reported to us. So here are the final numbers for cases supported by Worker Safety Support in fiscal year 2024. There were 729 reported incidents this year, which is actually up from the previous year. I have it broken down by division, the actual incidents. So we have in the first column, we have APS. Some of the more significant incidents we experienced in APS were animal bites and threats. In CPI, animal bites, assaults, consults. I'll actually give the definition for that on the next slide. Let's see, harassment, some internal issues, outbursts, and threats with 98. Let's see, CCL relatively low, CPS about the same, animal bites, assaults, consults, harassment, internal events, outbursts, and threats. This chart is available if you would like it sent to you. Just send a request, and it'll also be in this training when we upload it, so you can go back and refer to it. So our top safety incidents in fiscal year 2024, again, we had threats, 280 occurrences. So threats are any type of statement, message, or action expressed by a client, whether direct or indirect, of their intent to harm an employee or the employee perceives the statement as a threat. This includes text messages, social media, YouTube, comments and videos, phone calls, voicemails, or in-person communications. If any of that does happen, please go use that QR code or those other methods that I mentioned earlier to file a report, and we'll support you through those. Consults was our next most popular safety incident. Consults are considered supportive services provided to an employee related to a case assignment or their job duties. This may or may not be a specific incident that has occurred, but proactive planning is requested to ensure safety. Consults are not limited to events that occur in offices, but may occur at any duty point. An example of this would be discussing strategies for transporting an aggressive youth being released from juvenile detention, or you have a parent who has a violent behavior in a previous case and a new investigation is reported. We'll actually help you walk through those steps to come up with a precursor to a safety plan to keep you safe on how to interact with those clients as we go forward. Also, exposures to tuberculosis, drug exposure, or hazardous material related to a case, other examples of something that we can support you through consults. So please reach out to us. As you can see, we do a lot of them per year. It's not doesn't bog us down to actually get through those consults, but it's there to keep you safe. Also, this type of support also includes evaluating staff safety after an incident that could have placed you at risk. So, for example, it could be a youth damaging a non-HHSC location during child watch without harming employees. A plan is needed then to determine how to protect employees moving forward. So those consults will also cover you during that. So next, we have assaults. Third highest occurring incident with 86, and assaults are defined as any intentional incident involving physical contact or an attempt to make physical contact or a threat that includes imminent bodily injury. It includes anything in the penal code that can be defined as assault. Examples include hitting, attempting to hit an employee, sexual assault, pulling a gun or shooting at someone, or chasing an employee with a baseball bat or knife. Assaults that cause an injury must be reported in caps. And then finally, we have our internal events. We have 64 occurrences. And internal events are incidents involving DFPS employees that are not the results of actions taken by clients served by DFPS. Examples include employees that are or have not been dismissed, employees that are harassing one another, stealing from one another, or employees that are involved in personal domestic violence situations. WSS discusses with the region where the HR needs to be involved for internal events. And I did mention earlier, we did have a lot of animal bites this year. It didn't make the top of the list, but it was our fifth occurring event. So any animal bites is animal events or any accidental or intentional incidents involving animals while on duty that may have caused an injury or created risk of harm. An example of this is a family member giving a command for their dog to attack an employee that results in a dog bite. These cases are going to be referred to us, and they need to be also put in caps and discussed with risk management. Staff that are bitten, scratched, or otherwise attacked by any animal while out in the field should be encouraged to seek medical attention. And then again, you're going to be required to file a CAPS report, and we'll support you through that situation. Moving on to animal bites a little bit more because it is a rapidly growing safety incident what we're having. So animal bites have become more prevalent safety issues with workers in the field. We have to think about approaching a resident and what we're there for. So an aggressive animal and a resident to you is probably an animal doing its job protecting its home, right? So you are a stranger when you approach these homes. Even if you've been there once or twice, I've noticed in a lot of data that a lot of people being attacked on their second trip to the home because they let that guard down a little bit. But just remember that dog or that animal is unfamiliar to you. Please take precautions. Um, some of the signs that I actually like to tell people to watch out for in aggressive animals includes like raised hackles, like that ridge along the back, a very stiff body, animal that's staring, baring teeth, barking and growling, of course, which are um, very obvious signs, but also lunging and snapping. What I told the workers, if you are in a situation, please minimize your gestures that could be considered aggressive, such as waving your arms around, sudden hand movements, raising your voice and stuff like that. That could actually invoke an attack. And if you are involved where there's aggression by animal, protect yourself by all means. Stand your ground. I tell people use those really nice laptop bags that we have. Keep yourself protected. Put something in between you and the animal, and then try to get out of the situation as quick as possible and get to a safe area. So just remember, all interactions with animals start the moment you leave your vehicle. When you approach a home, shake the gate, keys, make some noise, try to draw attention to yourself to see if there's any animals on the property if you're unaware. If an animal is present, please ask the owner to put the animal away. I have yet to see a dog answer an interview question, so have that animal put away, please. And if the animal is present and aggressive, again, put something in between yourself and the animal and protect yourself if you're attacked. In the event that you are bit by an animal, here are our post-bite actions. One, if an animal attack does occur or a bite does occur, your priority is to get to safety. Leave the area immediately. If able, request emergency assistance by calling 911 or activating your alert media when needed, if that assistance is needed. Seek medical attention as quickly as possible due to concerns with disease carried by animals. Activate your alert media and request medical attention to your location for situations that you deem require immediate attention. I've seen in the past a lot of our caseworkers that have been bitten, they discuss the animal's vaccination records prior to. You can take that out word of mouth. I would still say seek medical attention because we have the possibility of rabies. Step 3, notify your supervisor of a work-related injury or illness immediately and complete a CAPS report describing the event and injuries that are received. I recommend you taking a picture of the animal bite just so we have it on file. And the fourth one, like I said, I mentioned earlier, if the owner of the dog, ask the owner of the dog if it's been vaccinated on all, if it has been updated on all vaccinations to include rabies. Rabies is a concern with all animal bites, and you can notify animal control of the bite if you feel it is appropriate for the situation. So that is post-bite actions. Please, if you are attacked by an animal, I don't care, dog, cat, horse, anything, please make sure you follow these post-bite actions and talk to WSS. So future initiatives by worker safety support. So these are the things that we're taking on in fiscal year 2025 to benefit the employees of the agency. First, we're actually in conversation now to host roundtable conversations on enhancing the safety culture at DFPS with supervisors. That will be rolling out here in the upcoming quarter, probably Q3. You'll start to see these out in the field. 2, we're going to develop a supervisor-specific training that focuses on active support of employees' safety and well-being. We're going to partner with Wellness Division to develop a critical incidents response policy. We plan to participate in outreach to offices that meet staff in the region. So you'll start to see that here in the next few weeks. We'll actually have work safety support out in the offices talking. We'll have our cards. We'll have a couple pamphlets to hand out, some of our online safety stuff, just to put us out in the field more and have you familiar with who we are and what we do. And then finally, we're going to coordinate with workforce development and programs to publish a policy related to employees impacted by domestic violence. And that actually will be the subject of our next webinar that'll occur next quarter. We're going to discuss protective orders and domestic violence. So I have reached the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, Danielle, do you have any in the Q&A? Did you bring those up?
Hey, Marcus, it's Lindsay. I'm going to jump in for Danielle.
Oh, okay.
So one of the questions, and I did respond to it in the chat, but I think it would be good for everyone to hear is, what does it mean, alert media, when you say usage? What do staff have to do for it to be considered usage?
So alert media usage, in order to be considered a user of alert media, you have to log in and set either a timer or a tether session. Each session counts for one usage. We do encourage sometimes for those people that are very active and all over the place, we'll say like, hey, you need to set like one session that lasts 9 hours to cover all your multiple locations. You'll only get credit for one session if you do it that way. But if you feel inclined to say, hey, I want to set a session for every client that I visit today, and you visit 3 clients, you get credit for 3 sessions.
Thank you. Another question from Myra Douglas is, how does the worker safety program tie into working with SSCCs?
Okay, so with the rollout of SSCCs, we did kind of step back from that. Worker safety support is primarily involved with direct DFPS employees and their support. We do have contact information with them if we have to get in contact with them, but we do not offer direct support to the SSCCs.
There was another question. We will talk with them though, right? If
Yes,
they have questions
about,
we will consult with them. We just can't give them policy or guidance on how they need to handle situations.
That's correct.
Okay. There it says no reports from APS. I'm not sure. I think we had reports from APS this year.
Yes, we did.
Right?
Yes. Could they clarify that question? And I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability.
Okay. That was from Jill. And then Arturo asked, any ideas why SI incidents, reported incidents are so low, considering they are out in the field just like CPI and CPS? Do they tend to underreport? Are they better at de-escalation, so there's less need to report?
Unfortunately, I don't have a clear answer for that. I will say that they do have de-escalation skills. However, like we don't know what's underreported or overreported. We just know what comes in. We do our best to get out in front of people and tell them these are the things that qualify for a report. Unfortunately, I can't force people to report anything. So I'm not really sure. Those would be great correlations to probably assume, but I'm not for sure.
And that looks like all. Oh, Jill followed up. She said safety reports wasn't reflected on the diagram.
Okay, I'll go back and look at it. APS was the first column on our, but I'll go back and we'll actually be releasing that annual report here probably in a couple of weeks. And everybody should be able to read. We have it broken down by division and region once that report's released. And you can see the safety incidents that occurred per division and per region of that division. It'll be a very broken down detail. I think it's about 25 pages about our safety report and alert media and surveys and stuff that went out. So it'll be available to you here soon, Joe. Somebody put something in the
Someone
chat.
is, can I get a list of things that need to be reported?
Okay, yep. And also, all that information can be found in OP 6115. Again, I recommend everyone, especially supervisors and above, please get familiar with that policy. A lot has changed. We're asking a lot. In the way of changing the safety culture, and we really need people to get familiar, like what are the things. So anything that needs to be reported is in there. It's broken down. It tells you what your responsibilities are as far as reporting, how it's reporting, what happens. So that's the OP 6115.
And I dropped the link into the Q&A. I can worker safety, and whoever requested that, if you will send an email to worker safety support at dfps.texas.gov, we can have someone respond. But if you also go to our intranet, there are several flyers and different things there located that will provide that information as well as the policy. That looks like, Marcus, I'm not seeing, unless I'm missing.
No, I think that's all. I'm trying to monitor 3 screens right now, so please forgive me if my head's all over the place. I believe that is all. Are there any more questions? All right. Okay, moving on to our last slide. So, like all things, I need to know how I did. So this is our post-presentation survey. If you could please pull out your phone, scan the QR code. It'll bring you to a survey. It should take you less than 2 minutes. Like all things in safety, I don't know what I don't know. If it's not reported, I have no clue that it exists. So please, in that survey, let me know how I did. I usually speak a little bit fast, so I always expect that comment. But please fill that survey out and let me know how I did. And because all things Marcus are really fast, I'm going to give you back about 25 minutes of your day. But I want to thank everybody who attended today's presentation. And I'd like to thank the Worker Safety Support Team for all you've done this past fiscal year to make everyone safe. Thank you. Lindsay?
I'm good. We'll leave this up for a couple minutes for those that are still scanning, or if y'all need anything, I dropped in the chat our email. So contact us with whatever you need, or if you have suggestions, we're happy to talk about it. It says they're saying error on survey.
Survey. Okay. Is everyone getting there? All right.
We're
1
getting
second.
several. It says
All
QR
right.
code isn't working. Okay.
Well, I will drop another QR code in the chat for you guys here in a second.